Yeah, boo. What a weird design choice. Oh, shit.
That's the moral. Damn, bitch. Hmm. Over here. Dude, it's hard. It's like a Oh, good. Is he gonna follow me? Dude, I'm like about to die. Good. Oh, you're fucking. Okay, it's done. Dude. What? Another one of them? Dude, that's weird. So, what's Come on, man. What? What? And the whole thing over again? What? Oh my god, dude. Did I even kill that thing before? Oh. Oh, did I kill it? There's no way I did. Isn't dead? I need health so bad. These things spawn. Bitch. Nope. There. Oh. I thought you were asleep. Fucker. Oh yeah, for
service aspirations. And then we also have a current situation that's starting to move around Marathon. That itself, Share parts for the time is right. So that we appreciate patience. Thank you for your support. Well, it's technically been 3 years since they had that initial reveal for parts for, and like that quick trailer that we saw. I guess we have some screenshots to go on here, sort of a collage they put together and posted online. So it still feels like we're ways off from this release. Not necessarily what parts fans want. I guess that was nothing after they put the initial parts. Plus, we had another random Switch Online drop at expansion. This is over on Nintendo's official.
No way.
Can I get done in one day?
It's like Killer 64.
Brand new 13-inch Surface laptop. Let's find it.
Is to experience explosive hits and hundreds of thousands of killer combinations in killer support. It's available right now in the expansion pack. It looks like they had Ridge Racer 64 dropped in. Now, Killer Instinct Gold is a really fun and over-the-top game on the Nintendo 64. I've heard those in the arcade way that's what the first so there's Mario film will be titled Super Mario World. The title was included in a press release about upcoming movies, but apparently by mistake since it was removed shortly after publication. So yeah, whoops on that one. But Super Mario World, so no 2 in there, no Super Mario Brothers 2 movie or something. I'm just going with the more original title there, but Super Nintendo with the Switch, I guess it makes sense. They're going from the original Nintendo in terms of like video game releases. You have the original Nintendo for their first movie, and then you go up to the Super Mario World and Super Nintendo for a second. Yeah, we definitely lined up that way, but it also makes me wonder if this is going to be an original story. It sounds strange because technically the Mario movie that we just had was set up for them to continue their adventures in the Mushroom Kingdom. But maybe they want to go a different route and just kind of start fresh again with a new story in the Mario franchise. Hard to say until we get, of course, our first trailer, but at least for now we have the title Super Mario World. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the big stuff. Let's start right away with the Switch 2 and the expectations around for covers leading into today, because it does seem right now it's going to be a spot. And in fact, I would expect there to be limited in terms of big outlets even having review units to go. So this was posted up. This is on Game Business from Christopher Drake. It says the game's press will not be receiving Nintendo Switch 2 consoles until just before it comes out. The Game Business has learned. Some media have been warned they will not have their machine until launch day. So I guess even shipping out, it will arrive here on that day, which is interesting because that means that many people on YouTube, for example, or go out and pick them up, will have the system storage routes. But they say Nintendo has told them this is due to the requirement of a significant day one patch. Now, some will look at this saying, oh wow, there's a day one patch. This is insane. Switch technically had like a system update, I remember. This isn't new necessarily. So Nintendo is holding some press preview events for Mario Kart, which will give journalists and critics an extended play of the upcoming video game. But the reality is that there will be very few, if any, reviews of its games until after the machine tests. So I don't think it's a great excuse for Nintendo. Like, oh, there's a firmware patch you need or a day one patch for the Switch 2, as if they could download it before that. before they send it out. I mean, it's like, hey, for Nintendo, I'm not going to make that happen. No, I think in this case, though, Nintendo, from their perspective, do they need reviews for this system when they're already flying off the shelves anyway? At this point, it's being sold, yes, by the fact that Mario Kart World and Mario Kart big game is released. The follow-up, the sequel that people have been waiting for forever now, since really the review, the launch title. Yeah, that is, as you can see right now, enough to drive demand where you don't need reviewers to give them a good review or anything like that. You just coverage to sell the system. So, one, I don't think it's a high priority for Nintendo at this time, and two, it's too late for them to say, you know what, if you send it on launch day, you don't have to worry about someone breaking embargo and just putting information out there, you don't put out there before release anyway. So, to me, the firmware patch, whatever, that's just not a great excuse at all, because they can obviously figure that out and ship it out. So it is there before release. The thing to me, though, that would be more of a problem would be games not getting any kind of review ahead of release, and specifically third-party games. So think about it this way: if you are a third party who is launching day one alongside the studio, the release for the game probably for days if they're department weeks. So it's a very predicament there, because you could have a very good port.
Quinn's biggest bully, Troy, shoved his tongue in his girlfriend's mouth in front of the whole class. While Quinn remained a mere spectator. That moment pushed him to become the most destructive weapon the world had ever seen.
I'm trying to get back there.
Quinn nearly died.
I missed this window of press and all these eyeballs being on the system that launched this long lineup library. You kind of miss out on a little bit of that, but I'm glad we really did have a good version. You should check this game out maybe after you're done playing Mario Kart World, or looking around for something else. So that to me is the biggest thing there. For third parties than first parties. Nintendo, they pretty much have their stuff figured out. So I guess don't expect too much coverage for the Switch 2 in terms of independent coverage or reviews without the typical guardrails being in place for some of these preview events that Nintendo will be holding and inviting press to. Or at least I would pick my system up at midnight and do a live stream actually, unbox and check it out, first impression of the whole thing, and then expect a ton of coverage to follow for the next couple of days as we sort of go over everything. Next up is something so it's new with so about 3 years ago, and the idea was Jade Raymond, here she comes, fresh off her short stay, we'll say, with Google and Stadia, and that whole thing got shut down. After, of course, she had bounced around to Ubisoft, there, and now here she comes with this new studio she's formed, and Sony comes in, buys Taken Studios, and they show us the game they're working on called Fair Game.
Oh, hey.
Fair Games, obviously, but since then, after they showed it, it's been pretty quiet. Until yesterday, when a report was published from Jason Schreier Bloomberg that Jade Raymond had left the studio. Let's take a look at this over on Bloomberg. They say PlayStation leadership didn't give Haven staff a reason for Jade Raymond's departure. But it came several weeks after an external test of Haven's first game, the online share Fair Games. So by the way, Haven's I guess they're not leaning into that kind of title anymore.
Seek out additional stockpiles.
Concerned about how the game is received and its products. Several people who asked not to be identified because they aren't what the device is being. Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding games to PlayStation's focus of the state. We are deeply grateful for years of wish our customers get her access to the spokesperson added the company is committed to supporting game systems and excited to continue the journey with new studio heads Marie, Eve, Danis, and Pierre Francois. It's Crane doesn't look good for the Bear games at this point. And the head of the studio leaves weeks after an external plate that did not go well for your flagship titles, your entire studio that's used to. But anyone is surprised if in a few weeks, a month, and so forth, they show up with, hey, Bear Game's been canceled. I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, right, okay. That may be because not a great situation here, obviously, for Sony Live Service clear, because outside of Coronavirus 2, they're really having not traction. Like this, it's just another hit in the line of just failed attempts for live service. And the thing is, it go out there and say, give us the ability now to go to the next level and so on. The company that does the working that console didn't care. They're not going to take that seriously. I'm sure we would like to work with them. I'm sure. It's a big thing. And the book Steam current player counts for past examples of the field. I don't know if you can see the trends. And it just spikes completely. Other spots down spikes. It's pretty common for them to have 50, 60, 70,000 point times throughout the day. So I assume Helldiver suit is that the live service button, and yes, it's here. So I'm very, very curious what they call it the shop. What's it? They package Microsoft will launch their next generation Xbox. 2027 is the leading year right now. That's the 2026. There was a story that was going around. A job listing that mentioned the potential for like so. Anyway, from I guess X86, moving as far would be interesting just because I'm curious if the configuration they come up with there when it comes to the CPU and the GPU side and how well that works. I think though, looking at that job listing more so, we're still looking at Xbox just completely as a console, as a box, whereas it's very clearly turning into an ecosystem.
As a Latina immigrant and childcare provider, I am proud to teach children in my community English and Spanish. But I see less than $10 per hour. Governor Newsom, we need fair pay to stay open for work in California.
So I do wonder if, in general, with Microsoft, they wanted to work on ARM as well as Xbox. Where if they partner, let's see if they do open it up. Hey, partners can develop systems like we're seeing with the outline. Looks like they're poised to have that out there pretty soon. And they'll work on something that's ARM-based. It's an always there. That's another way I'm looking at it. Not that Microsoft's next generation typically ARM-based, but that, hey, if a partner wants to be ARM-based, it can, and it all work together. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as we see here. This is from Chris, who says, even having these leaked specs doesn't tell the whole story. There's a lot of technical magic happening that doesn't get translated one-to-one with technical specs. It's probably safe to assume these specs will get you minimum performance expectations. I think at this point, we've seen the games, right? It's pretty obvious. If you look at, people are comparing to the Xbox One. The Xbox One can't play Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. It's the first thing, boom, right there. Just point to it, it's not playing that. Alright. So, I think now, more than ever, like, just get the games going. Let's see what Nintendo has, even beyond what they've already shown us, because I think we're going to get to June, we'll have a Direct, and we'll start to set up, not only throughout, I think it's the holiday, obviously, third, I feel like we're going to get a couple of bits and pieces we'll see. Things that are still somewhat well distanced. Let's get people more excited about just the generation at large. Things that, like, years off in the NVIDIA says is 10 times here's a significant leap. So that's the thing right now. If we get out of the ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for really. Look at this thing.
This
This let me just read this real quick. Fractal boost founder of the side of bits. Definitely probably some of the same, but let's see.
Okay, I just wanted to say, these is here, Sonnet, I think? I don't know what it's called. Written in like the early 1800s. I think it's a really weird application of this. I think it's weird to put this in here because I don't, it's just not, it like kind of fits with the disaster happened, so it's collapsed, so that's kind of it's strange.
I said I think like most what they're saying, right?
I thought this was gorgeous. I thought it was wonderful. Classic, big, lumpy, like, amazing. It looks like Marathon. That exists. Gameplay, feel of those cinematics, which made me. So, when I was talking about scale of 1 to 10, I was sort of weird because I was excited, but I was skeptical. So there were good things and bad things. You guys have seen a lot of the scandals that happened after years. Not good stuff coming out of there, but that gave me some skepticism. After I would say, so I was skeptical. Doesn't necessarily fit what actually it's up, right? So maybe that's why people have reacted somewhat negatively.
Seems like it's bad stuff. Guys receiving things. I'm not picking that up at all. David O'Brien said he said it. Yeah. There could be a lot of reasons why someone's not working out, but sure. Get it into the contract. With their ears. Yeah, I'm just trying to see, like, I haven't really heard anything from them that's necessarily a new take or a different take, but I'm not like hearing any bias standpoint from
AI, PvP encounters, but then there's also other players. And it's sort of the same mentality, like,
It's just playing one of those controllers. They're
best. That's really compelling. That's weird to consider what points in Destiny and how that normal items that you've got over your decade of experience playing Destiny. I think that this is a smart choice and one needs for the new audience because I think the Destiny audience is falling off. I can't really substantiate that. before you go look at Steam charts and see what the number just
What?
Marathon is pulling in an entirely different audience. That's a really good thing to do. They can't lean on the Destiny audience. They need to capture a new audience. The Destiny audience is dwindling and shrinking, and I think people just not care for it anymore. So some of the other people have said this doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? As someone who makes games, it makes a lot of sense to me, and I think it's a smart choice. Of course, it's risky, but it's what they do. It's in kind of a dangerous position right now. The studio's future is hanging on Marathon. That's clearly not what they inspired by so it's something great that building. But some said they don't. Section minor gaming audience has been very negative for lukewarm for emotions. So I think it's the right choice, moving in the right direction. Some people say it's good, some people say it's good. Not many of those things, like that. Most people, especially for the how to rip the game, gathering daily and spending those resources and upgrades and workshops, taking them out that love chat about strategy with content creators and streamers to say you can cover this game, but there are certain things you cannot say. And the reason why they do that is because there can be a really, really negative impact on sales of the game with very popular content with language about it. It sucks. As a consumer, you watch your favorite streamer and you're like, oh, this is great. This is an honest take. Most of the time it's not honest. But if it's sponsored, because that's
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily trust a sponsored video or a sponsored review. Granted, have we done sponsored reviews? Yeah, we did one for Remnant 2. The easiest review of my life. She was great. Great game. What's a sponsored review? No, I mean, I would say at that point, you might just go, we want to skill up. Do skill up this. Skill up super big man. I really like skill up's like approach to a lot of these things. There's no trend back. So that doesn't mean that my taste is aligned with skill up sticks. Because there's sometimes we're he likes a game that I didn't really like so much. You know, he says it's good, and there's nothing that's no transactions. Swing. And also I will say this too about my small stuff. The companies that I've ever seen that have tried to tell me what to say has been mobile games. And like, if there's like one thing we kind of steer away from any type of like, not that I have mobile games, just I don't play them at all. But there have been mobile games that will try to be like, now Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends will really give you a page on what to say, and it's like, like type that you know, it's great. This is such a, you're shooting yourself if you try to sit there and now there's cheerleading. I've seen in the past only certain people get access to early access guys and cherry picked which creators get early access. Dragon Age Belgor. So Belgor, dude, that blew up in their face. They said what they did. They're trying to control the narrative by giving it to people they felt would give them more positive reception. You see that with Star Wars, got early access. Positive reception. Anyways, it doesn't work. That game is shut. I'm putting it remastered here recently. Substantially better than Star. Say it out. Say it out. No. I'm putting it remastered. Beautiful Star. And that's an entirely new IP. That's an entirely new game. Oblivion. A fucking remaster. Blows that out of the wall. It even says it. Starfield's the definition of being mid. Thank you. It is. It's the truth. But that's the fanboys. Anyways, I'm trying to keep up with this guy saying he's losing me. He gets me back. He's losing me again. Oh, man, back and forth.
Modern AAA, just so you guys are aware, if there's a featured segment or it's sponsored or someone got this early look, it's usually very carefully controlled about the messaging because it's a major advertising fee. Just be aware of that as you're looking at stuff around this game. There are a couple people, I think it was Skill Up.
Who said you could ask me out? Do you even have an ability?
What?
My last boyfriend was a level 3. You think I'd slum it with a level 1 loser like you?
Let me ask you for your number because we're bad.
Unbelievable.
I live in a world where everyone has superpowers except me.
Looks like it's my turn. This is gonna suck.
I was born without any powers.
What the hell was that?
You didn't have a special ability? No, but my parents. Your parents what? My parents couldn't afford it.
No.
It's extremely biased. Don't trust anything I say.
That did some of the more honest takes, and while I agree with some of the things Skillup was saying, he was also one of the people that was talking about how it doesn't make sense Bungie's courting a new audience. I think he doesn't get it there, and that's okay. He doesn't make games. I think he doesn't get it there, and that's okay. He doesn't make games.
Look, Skill Up likes Destiny, and Skill Up plays Destiny. And like the rest of us, Skill Up is wondering why the a Destiny 3 wasn't being made. Alright? And Skill Up doesn't make games. Does a phenomenal job on their games. I like working with devs, but there are some devs I've worked with in the past, and you got their own way. It almost just happened to be like and it makes it back to
time to pivot. The amount of changes you can make in 6 months are really small. I'm seeing other people say, there's hundreds of people working on it. There's a team of about 300. 6 months is a lot of time for 300. I'm going to say the reality of it is when you're working at this scale, these budgets, this game is done. You can't move that quickly. You have such a large team, you have to be really careful about how you spend money. Otherwise, the game doesn't release. They've made it worse, and the whole studio collapses. Everyone loses their jobs, so that's it. And it's, alright, we gotta wait and see. That being said, that's why I'm at like 5 on the scale. I'm very excited to check out that piece of this and what I see AI all very like limits, see where all that goes. And I check it out in chat and I see some comments about this is where I'm concerned. This game is competing with other games that are like it's great life based on America. I have to consider it something that is established. Think about that. Saying about Destiny. People are directed at the game. Okay, so this I think is interesting. Like that. Pretty transparent.
Yes, 48 nice shots, please.
So that's great. That's a good game. Size, that's a big quality game. Back in here, let's usher Marathon into the space. That's really fun. You're right, I have issues with the monetization. In particular, still a podcast. They were asking about monetization. It needs this very hard focus on stuff. We gotta figure this out, whatever. And it looks like everyone's gonna have a different idea of it's gonna, throw a shade here and say that that's a the right answer is we need to cost to studio safe business. That's the concept. That's the thing. That's it. I should have said that. Instead, damn right, yellow. It was sort of push the onus on the player to be like, well, if, $40 is free, this game's not free. I mean, that's still a PR hit. You know what I mean? We need to cost the game enough for the studio to stay in and we need to. Yeah, I mean, that's still. It's trading one PR answer for another one, a longer one. Make a good.